Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. It reads, Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they may be saved. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Hakadash. Double honors to the head elders, apostles, and the bishops at the great millstone who rule well and teach well. And shalom to you, hopeful elect brothers and sisters out there scattered abroad, gathering faith as a treasure. Shalom to you. So I wanted to start off with this, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him, who? Esau, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, he's coming to do the bidding of Satan, you know. Like how Jacob, which consists of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we go back to the lineage of Israel, and we have that natural-born fear of the Most High, and Esau does not. So that's what he does. What he does, and what he's doing is poisoning the food, and that's evil work. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, he has the power to do it, signs and lying wonders. So let's get this, because first time I seen it, right away I it was spiritual, you know, and it says, I'll ask a few questions. See, we'll start from. Okay, I said, in the movie Pootie Tang, does it show the evil man intent is to take Pootie's rep to make kids choose poor life choices? It says, yes, that is exactly the central plot of the 2001 film Pootie Tang. The main antagonist, Dick Lecter, played by Robert Wang, is the CEO of Letter Corp, a massive corporation that sells harmful products like cigarettes, malt liquor, and unhealthy fast food. Says, here is how the plan to ruin Pootie's reputation and corrupt children unfolds. Pootie as a role model, Pootie Tang is a superstar hero who uses public service announcements to warn children away from Lecter Corp addictive and dangerous products. And you see that all around. Like back in the day, they had that Marlboro Man, and every time you saw him, he looked cool with a cigarette, you know, jumping out the helicopter, you know, doing cool things. They push that so that the little ones get influenced, and they're like, if I want to be that cool, I got to do what they do. Smoke cigarettes, drink beer, you know, do all kinds of stuff that's not productive. Says the corporation conflict because Pootie's influence causes Letter Corp sales to plummet, burger sales down 30%, cigarettes down 20%. Dick Lecter decides he must destroy Pootie's cool image to regain control over the youth. And you know Pootie's a Jake, and in that movie they show anything that guy does, people go crazy for it. You know, he makes up words. You know Jake making up words, and next thing you know, it's all over the place, you know. They showed a part where he's in the studio with no music, and he's singing his heart out, but there's no sound. And guess what happens? Turns into a hit, because it's Jake, you know, we're the salt of the earth, you know, and Jacob is the former of all things. So they show that in the movie, that these people go crazy, and that Jake has a love for women. But anyways, we make everything look cool, and if you make eating healthy cool, these people are gonna hate you and track you down for it. Like you said, causes Letter Group sales to plummet. They don't like that. They're all about their greed, their money. Like it says, they're as hell. You know, they can't be filled. But let's move on. It says, does that sound like a move the devil would make? It absolutely does. In fact, it's basically the devil's playbook for the modern age because it focuses on corruption rather than just destruction. eh? Corruption and destruction. Here is why Dick Lecter's move is classic devil behavior. The inversion of good. The devil doesn't just want to be evil. He wants to take something pure and twist it by using Pootie Tang as a symbol of discipline and virtue. To sell cigarettes and malt liquor, he ruins the hero's legacy while tricking the innocent. And let's see. Like you said, tricking the innocent. But check it out. I asked this, how can you rule without knowing good and evil? And then it says, according to the Bible, ruling without knowing good and evil is impossible because true leadership requires discerning right from wrong to ensure justice. And this damn devil knows how to do right, but he chooses to do bad, you know? It says he wants to take something pure and twist it by using Pootie Tang. You know, they try to do that with us, you know? Try to buy you out, and if not, they'll destroy your rep. It says, just like the choice paradox we talked about earlier, Lecter takes away Pootie's power, the belt, and forces him into a contract. The devil is often depicted as a contract lawyer who uses your own signature against you. And that's exactly what these damn devils do, who's in power. You know who's in power. These like music label company owners, the CEOs in the top, they're all small hats and they're all part of that club that we're not in. Yeah, I damn sure don't want to be part of that club. You know, like Moses, he'd rather choose to live like his people than pleasure for a little while. You know, but it says targeting the youth in theology, and folklore. The devil often targets the most vulnerable by making poor life choices look cool through a trusted role model. He ensures a cycle of suffering for the next generation. Like the fast food, they stuff their face and then they're all obese and they need high blood pressure medicine and diabetes, insulin medicine, and the list goes on. You eat these poison foods, it's like eating acid. You rot your stomach, leaky gut, all that kind of stuff. That's something that the devil would do. The mockery. There's a certain level of pride and mockery in the plan. Lecter doesn't just want to win. He wants to laugh while Pootie's fans destroy themselves using products with Poogie's face on them. See, so this devil is something else. Let's get a few scriptures. The book Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So when Yahushua sets up the kingdom, everybody's going to be in perfect order. Says, but this is the point. An unwise king destroyeth his people. He don't want to give a damn about nobody, not even his children, Says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Another one. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, and that's Yahushua. So, like I got over here, according to the Bible, ruling without knowing good and evil is impossible because true leadership requires discerning right from wrong to ensure justice. And That's part of this walk. Yahweh Bashem El Shai showing us the good and the bad, so that we could be judges, Lord willing. And the kingdom's going to be beautiful. Like it says, I think in the book of Joshua, about, I think it's in Joshua, about the two men had to carry a cluster of grapes because they were so big, because the earth was better. And Esau got in power and he ruined it. Like Job 9:24. Let's get that. Job 9:24 says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Says, this verse reflects Job's profound despair and argument that innocent people suffer, like our people, eating all this poison while they eat the good stuff. Says, an argument that innocent people suffer while the wicked, Esau Edom, and his cronies prosper. Let's see. So they poison our food, they eat good food, and it looks like they're living it up. But like I said, Yahweh is going to set up one that is profitable in Yahweh Shai. It says, John 10:10, and we can get it in the NIV or NLV, the New Living Version, New Life Version, sorry. I am the door. Anyone who goes in through me will be saved from the punishment of sin. He will go in and out and find food. The robber comes only to steal and to kill and to destroy. I came so that they may have life, a great full life. See? Devil's coming to destroy, and that's what he's doing. He's ruining everything, the water, the air, the soil, name it. There's nothing that this guy is not polluted. And Yahweh Shai said, I came so they might have life, a great full life. Another one too, Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. People are not happy right now. You can see all over the world, people are rising up, against the government, against even their neighbors, It says, when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn. That's what they're doing. But Yahushua is going to come and says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So it's going to be paradise, man. Let's see. Let's see. And if and I was getting at the devil that, and if he ran the food companies, if the devil ran food companies, he wouldn't just ruin the food, he'd weaponize the entire system to ensure maximum dependency and moral conflict. It would be a kitchen. It wouldn't be a kitchen. It would be a massive, inescapable psychological trap. Here is how Diabolical Holdings Inc. might operate. Devil's Holdings Inc. The bliss point addiction. He would employ flavor scientists to engineer foods that hit the exact chemical bliss point to a precise ratio of salt, sugar, and fat that overstimulates the brain. Goddamn, that's exactly what he does. You see on the foods, natural ingredient, but the natural ingredient can be bugs. Let's see if I got that in here. Okay, right here. I asked, does companies put dry parasites in food? Yes, several food companies use a natural red dye made from dried and crushed parasitic insects. So parasites mess you up all kinds of ways. If you look, let's do that. Parasite faces look like them demons. Look at that. Okay, images. They're scary looking things. Ew. Imagine. Would you eat that if that was on your plate? A big old fat parasite? I don't think so. What can parasites do? Red dye. And let's just do this. Because he puts all kinds. Where parasites can live in the human body and what areas they can infect. The brain, the eyes, the lymph, lungs, liver, intestines, muscles, blood, joints, skin. See? So this damn devil, he's he's deep. Like it says, the heart is deep. You know? The mind, they try to cover everything. And you can see all that stuff. Brain eating amoeba infection caused by parasite. You know, goddamn, this stuff's crazy. But yeah, that's the job of the devil, and Esau's putting in the motion here on Earth. You know, he got that little red guy on his shoulder. He don't really exist. He's a spirit. But just so you can understand, he got that little red guy in his ear. But let's see. I think that's it. Low run is edifying. Never trust this devil, and do the best you can. You know. Let's see. So I think there's one more. Okay, and then I said, is there truth to that movie? Pootie Tang is a satire, but its core message is deeply rooted in real world corporate tactics. While the character Pootie is a surreal parody of 1970 actor stars, the villainy of Lettercoup is a direct critique of how massive companies operate in reality. Here's where the truth lies in that movie. The most realistic part of the movie is how Lettercorp steals Pootie's cool image to sell junk. In the real world, companies often adopt the slang, music, and fashion of youth or minority cultures to make unhealthy products like soda or fast food seem edgy or authentic. You know, all over. They make it look cool. The candies and the fast food. You know, Sonic got all slushies. They put toys in the bags for the kids. You know, kids don't want. I mean, they get hungry and stuff, but I remember being a little kid and wanting the toy. You know, let the food cool down, get my toy. It says the Joe Camel effect. For decades, that Joe Camel. Tobacco companies used cartoon mascots and cool imagery that researchers found were more effective at reaching children than adults. See, so goddamn, they made that camel for the kids, not for anybody else. But yeah, this damn devil coming after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So the bliss point, you know, they make this food and drug administration, you know. They get you hooked and then they give you the drugs and they make it salty, sugary, and tasty, fatty, you know. Says Depictive labeling. Natural would mean nothing, and healthy buzzwords would be used to mask toxic additives or high fructose. Patriot juice. See, so, goddamn. Um, yeah. If the devil had control of the food, how would that go? You saw how it's been and what it says. Put it in movies, but it's all real. But I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash, for showing us this devil and exposing him for who he is, and giving us hope. You know, we're prisoners of hope, hoping that Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, will save us out of here from Babylon the Great. You know, save us from the hand of this devil. Because it says, if Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wouldn't shorten the days, there would no flesh be saved. So, the water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai for everything. And hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the head elders, apostles, and the bishops at the Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you, hopeful elect brothers and sisters out there gathering faith as a treasure. I say shalom to you. Till next time, Lord willing, shalom.